like when Stephen A. does this, I think it speaks to a little bit of lack of athleticism. Also a little bit of lack of rhythm. Stephen A., us athletes, we kind of like bob side to side when we get going. Us rhythm people, we bob side to side. Rhythm get going. Take my hands out of my pocket for a top 5 A-list.
Dan, you're the best. Stephen
That wasn't
A.,
bad.
how do you feel about him calling you out?
No,
Said you're a little stiff with money out.
I'm not, trust me, I'm not worried about Dan Orlovsky and rhythm. We don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? When he gets a call from Dancing with the Stars, he's going to give me a call. You know, I'm not worried about him. But nice try. Nice try.
All right, speaking of Danny boy, he gave his top 5 quarterbacks with the most to prove in 2025. Caleb Williams at the top of the list, followed by Trevor Lawrence, J.J. McCarthy, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. 4 of the quarterbacks played on teams that missed the playoffs, except J.J. McCarthy, who was sidelined with a torn meniscus last season. Okay, Mike G, do you agree with Dan's list that Caleb Williams is the quarterback with the most to prove this year?
Absolutely. Arguably, maybe of all the players in the NFL, when you just think about everything they've done, not only on the field, but off the field, starting with Ben Johnson, and then right down the line over the last 2 years from DJ Moore. I mean, we could go right down the line. Luther Burton, 3 offensive linemen led by Joe Tooney, Colston Loveland. So to me, Caleb Williams doesn't even have to be great. He just has to be average. Like the most unbelievable statistic I've seen in a long time, guys. He had a net 23 yards last year between rushing yards and all the yards he gave up in sacks. So those 68 sacks have to be cut in half. And the key for them, to me, is he doesn't have to be great, but they just have to be average. If he's average and showing improvement, that's a massive step in the right direction.
Swagoo.
I got a question. I'm gonna actually pose this question to Molly. Put all of us up on the screen, please. Molly, who's the highest paid quarterback on this list?
I need to see the list again here. Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, that's who has the most to prove. There were 4 teams out of this team that made the playoffs, right? And we look at Trevor Lawrence, he got $250 million plus to play quarterback in Jacksonville. And we don't even talk about this team having a chance for success in a division where young quarterbacks have passed him. C.J. Stroud has passed Trevor Lawrence with people having more confidence about how he'll perform. Here's the deal, bro. Like every other quarterback on this list is going into their 2nd year. Trevor Lawrence has had successful games. He's had successful seasons by what people would imagine. This was the #1 overall pick. He gets the least amount of responsibility when we start talking about quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion. This dude is uber talented. He's shown flashes of having an opportunity to be in the conversation for being a top 5. He has Brian Thomas Jr., who came on the scene from LSU as a wide receiver, played tremendous football for them last year. You draft Travis Hunter. This team has brought in wide receivers to promote that, paid guys. It's time for Trevor Lawrence to be in the conversation for being a playoff quarterback and actually making some noise when he gets into the playoffs. I know Jacksonville has other things that they have to fix, but if we are going to make this list about most approved in 2025, it is time for Trevor Lawrence to grab a hold to being a quarterback that's going to consistently be in the conversation. I know he's had some injuries. I know other things have popped up. But Trevor Lawrence got to prove going forward that he's going to continue to be in this conversation for playing at a high level and pushing his team forward.
A very strong case, even when you think about the contract itself.
Yeah, but it would be nice for you to wait until you heard the 3rd opinion before you just hand the reins to Marcus Big. I mean, damn, I ain't even speak yet. You're like, oh, you're right, you're spot on. Really?
Can I be honest? My women's intuition says that he won that debate. But go for it. I'm all ears.
Well, I didn't speak yet.
A little bit of a false start by Molly.
Absolutely. Leading the witness.
Right.
Leading the witness. That's all right, though. Swagoo, your point's on point, bro. I can easily get why you would say Trevor Lawrence. You're not wrong. But I'm going to tell you why I'm going with J.J. McCarthy. Because indirectly, I really wish I could just take and put Kevin O'Connell on this list. Because it's really about, when I'm thinking about pressure guys, again, Swagoo, I get your point. Here's mine. The Minnesota Vikings were 14-2 last year before they nosedived the last 2 games of the season. At the end of the regular season, and then, of course, in the playoffs, getting shellacked by Detroit and then by the Los Angeles Rams in the postseason. okay? They were 14-2. Sam Darnold threw for over 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And you said go. Because we got J.J. McCarthy, who ain't thrown an NFL pass yet. Think about that for a second. I understand, on a literal sense, Trevor Lawrence is the answer because those are the names, the quarterbacks. And I'm talking about the situation. Kevin O'Connell is being recognized as one of the best coaches in the National Football League. He's considered a quarterback whisperer, a guy that resurrected the career of a Sam Darnold. And so much faith has been placed in him that no one has basically taken a breath to pause and say, yo, J.J. McCarthy, yes, he completed 72% of his passes. Yes, he led Michigan to a national championship. But even in college football, he wasn't considered the best. He hasn't thrown an NFL pass yet. You've got Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in the world. You've got him and Jamar Chase to me. You've got Addison as well. You're talking about two elite weapons as a wideout with an elite coach that's considered a quarterback whisperer that you went 14-2 before losing the last 2 games, and you just gonna go away from all of that and say, J.J. McCarthy is my guy. He got to show up.
Very interesting take, Stephen A., but because he is the quarterback whisperer, at some point you got to look ahead to the future. Sam Darnold is never going to be the answer there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
That's why they drafted him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, again, tomorrow ain't guaranteed. The Minnesota Vikings went 14 games last year. If you take a step back because of the faith that you had in J.J. McCarthy, there are going to be people that's looking at you and saying, did you make the right decision? Trevor Lawrence ain't going anywhere.
As predicted, strong case, but Trevor Lawrence. We don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is going to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. We don't even know who he is.
We saw him come back from a 27-0 deficit in the playoff game to beat the Chargers.
Hold on, guys.
That was isolated,
Guys,
yes.
Why were they in 20? Yeah, they were in 27-point deficit because 5 interceptions.
If the four of us were running the Chicago Bears and we saw Michael Penix, Jayden Daniels, and Bo Nix play the way they did last year, players that were taken after Caleb Williams, and you look at the first 3 picks this year, they take a tight end, Colston Loveland, they take an offensive lineman, Ozzie Trapillo, and they draft Luther Burton after signing DJ Moore and Ruma Dunze in the top 10 a year. Like that, they have done more historically for Caleb Williams than most any other teams have ever done, and he's my best.
Hold on, Swagger. Hold on. The brother threw 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, okay, was sacked 68 times.
Yes.
So again, that's an organizational thing that's taking place with Chicago right now. You're doing all that. Okay, sure, you got to show up. But my goodness, it wasn't like he was awful last year considering the circumstances he was working on. Caleb Williams showed us he's got some skills now.
Getting skills to run backwards and run into sacks.
Run backwards and run into sacks. So it's his fault. They got sacked 68 times. It wasn't an offensive line.
But if he was the second best quarterback, that's great.
I really appreciate the debate.
Thank you.
Swaggo, you won. Okay, let's carry on in the words of Kendrick Perkins. Coming up here on First Take.